In just the past 2 years, more than 1,500 fast food restaurants across the United States have been forced to shut down, and the number is still climbing. The giants that once dominated the fast food industry are now being wiped out without mercy, and your favorite spot might be next. The question is, what's driving an entire industry into mass retreat? Some experts point to the hardline tariff policies under President Donald Trump as a major cause. The import tax barriers have driven up the cost of raw ingredients by as much as 30%, placing direct pressure on operating expenses for major chains. Many brands have quietly downsized. This isn't just a market downturn. It's an economic extinction event. Join us as we name 5 fast food chains that are slowly disappearing from America's map, and ask yourself, is your go-to meal the next casualty in this ruthless purge? Many believe that the tariff policies under President Donald Trump have left deep and lasting tremors across the U.S. economy, and the fast food industry is among the sectors feeling the most immediate and painful impact. According to internal statistics, by 2024, more than 15% of fast food outlets in the U.S. had closed down, and one of the most prominent names on that list is none other than Dominos Pizza. E1. Dominos Pizza, the fall of a giant. Dominos Pizza, once a global titan in the pizza industry, is now facing a collapse beyond recovery. In 2024 alone, the chain reported a staggering 133% drop in revenue within the U.S. market and a 10% decline globally, suffering heavy losses in major regions like Europe and Asia. The shock deepened as over 800 Domino's locations were shuttered, more than 400 of them in the United States. This pizza empire, once a staple of fast food culture, has had to bid farewell to hundreds of stores, not only due to shifting consumer habits, but also because of strategic missteps that pushed the brand over the edge. So, what really went wrong? There's no denying that the rise of third-party delivery platforms like Uber Eats, Grubhub, and DoorDash played a massive role in knocking Domino's out of the game. While rivals such as Papa John's and Little Caesars quickly partnered with these apps to expand their reach, Domino's stubbornly chose to go it alone, missing a critical opportunity to serve customers through the very platforms dominating the modern delivery space. This was a catastrophic strategic error that left them trailing far behind. On top of that, Domino's stagnant menu has been another major reason for its decline. As the pizza market evolved with bold new flavors and options like vegan pizzas, Domino's clung to its outdated, uninspired offerings. Younger consumers in particular found nothing exciting about the brand, and as a result, they shifted their loyalty to competitors with more innovative and diverse menus. But one of the most devastating blows to Domino's came in the form of tariffs imposed by President Donald Trump. According to the National Restaurant Association, NRA, steep tariffs on imported ingredients, especially the 25% tariff on beef and supplies from Australia, caused production costs for fast food chains like Domino's to skyrocket. This created severe financial pressure, driving Domino's profit margins into a steep decline. Robert Handfield, a supply chain expert at North Carolina State University, warned that such tariff policies could drive up food prices and squeeze the profit margins of chains like Domino's, forcing them to struggle just to stay afloat. That pressure ultimately pushed Domino's into a financial crisis, triggering widespread store closures and halting its once aggressive expansion strategy. The fall of Domino's wasn't an accident. It was the result of compounded failures, strategic missteps, a lack of innovation, and misguided political decisions. Domino's is now not only facing declining revenues, but also steadily losing market share to more agile competitors. Without a bold internal overhaul, the Domino's name may soon disappear entirely from the fast food landscape. The collapse of Domino's serves as a stark warning for the entire fast food industry. But Domino's isn't the only one facing this reckoning. Another longtime player in the restaurant world is now grappling with an equally alarming decline. 2. TGI Fridays, a financial catastrophe. TGI Fridays, one of the oldest and most iconic names in the American restaurant industry, is now facing a swift and unexpected collapse. In 2024 alone, the chain was forced to shut down 85 locations across the U.S., dropping dramatically from 270 stores at the beginning of the year to just 85 by April 2025. Its revenue also plummeted from $728 million in 2023 to only $380 million in 2024. This sharp decline signals a financial crisis that is hollowing out TGI Fridays from within. Why did this happen? One of the biggest culprits is its outdated menu. TGI Fridays failed to maintain relevance while competitors like Applebee's and Chili's continually refresh their offerings to appeal to younger consumers. While rivals introduced bold, modern dishes, TGI Fridays stuck with a stale, uninspired menu, causing customers to drift toward more exciting alternatives. But the failure didn't stop there. TGI Fridays also fell behind in the race to adopt online delivery trends. While brands like McDonald's and Wendy's quickly developed delivery apps and expanded digital engagement, TGI Fridays lagged behind, missing out on a massive share of the growing delivery market. Yet the most damaging impact came from soaring operational costs. Skyrocketing rent in major cities like New York and Los Angeles rendered many locations unprofitable, especially when combined with rising import costs due to President Donald Trump's tariff policies. These tariffs significantly raised food ingredient prices, making it impossible for TGI Fridays to compete on pricing. The chain's suppliers also struggled under increased costs, leading to even higher menu prices for consumers. As a result, TGI Fridays not only lost its loyal customer base, but was also forced to shutter large numbers of stores. The combination of financial strain, strategic stagnation, and cost pressure has pushed the brand to the brink of bankruptcy. Without immediate reform, TGI Fridays may vanish from the market altogether. And as TGI Fridays fights for survival, yet another name in the food industry is finding itself caught in the same downward spiral. 3. Baskin Robbins. The destruction of a legendary ice cream brand. Baskin Robbins, one of the most iconic ice cream brands in the world, is now slipping into obscurity, facing a collapse that seems beyond repair. On December 31, 2024, the company officially closed all of its corporate-owned stores in the United States, a decision that marked the end of a glorious chapter in the history of ice cream. While franchise locations remain in operation, they no longer carry any affiliation with the Baskin Robbins brand. This isn't just a sign of decline, it's a severe unraveling few could have predicted. According to financial experts, Baskin Robbins' U.S. revenue dropped by 2.3% in the 2024 fiscal year, a startling figure for a brand once firmly embedded in the hearts of American consumers. Why did Baskin Robbins fall into this state? The answer lies in its outdated development strategy. Though long associated with ice cream innovation, Baskin Robbins failed to keep up with the market's evolving demands. Competitors like Jenny's Splendid Ice Creams and Salt and Straw surged ahead by dominating the artisanal market with bold, creative flavors, especially as younger generations increasingly favored handcrafted, natural, and inventive dessert experiences. Meanwhile, Baskin Robbins remained stagnant, continuing to sell traditional flavors without introducing anything groundbreaking, gradually losing appeal among new customers. But the outdated menu wasn't the only issue dragging Baskin Robbins down. The chain also struggled to adapt to rapidly changing consumer habits. While rivals embraced trends like vegan ice cream, organic ingredients, and unique small-batch offerings, Baskin Robbins clung to its conventional playbook, refusing to innovate meaningfully. As a result, customers, especially millennials and Gen Z, slowly turned away in search of fresher, more exciting options. The market evolved, but Baskin Robbins couldn't evolve with it. Another critical factor that cannot be overlooked is the impact of tariffs. President Donald Trump's tariff policies on imported goods caused the cost of ice cream production to surge, particularly the price of imported flavorings and packaging materials. According to a report from the National Restaurant Association, NRA, tariffs on imported products, especially those from countries like Australia and Canada, drove up food ingredient costs by as much as 20% in some cases. Economists from the Cato Institute also noted that these additional costs created enormous financial pressure on fast food chains and legacy brands like Baskin Robbins. With rising production costs and shrinking profit margins, Baskin Robbins could no longer maintain competitive prices for customers while sustaining its business model. These changes didn't stop at declining revenue or shuttered stores. They were a clear sign of the slow-motion destruction of an empire once considered legendary in the ice cream world. The market no longer has room for a brand that refuses to adapt and evolve. Baskin Robbins is now facing a crisis beyond control, and without an immediate overhaul, it's not just the stores that will disappear, but the entire brand could be erased for good. As Baskin Robbins slips deeper into irreversible collapse, another pizza chain is also gasping for air in the same unforgiving industry. 4. Papa Murphy's, an unforeseen collapse. Papa Murphy's, once renowned for its take-and-bake pizza model, is now facing a decline that appears beyond salvation. Once celebrated for letting customers bring home raw pizzas to bake fresh in their own ovens, the chain has steadily lost its appeal, and with it, its market position. While frozen pizza brands like DiGiorno and Tombstone have surged ahead in the ready-made category, Papa Murphy's has failed to maintain its competitive edge in both pricing and quality. Frozen pizzas have now become the preferred choice for many, thanks to their convenience and affordability, causing Papa Murphy's to steadily lose its once loyal customer base. One of the major reasons behind this erosion is its outdated delivery strategy. As competitors like Domino's and Little Caesars adapted quickly to the demand for hot and convenient delivery, Papa Murphy's lagged behind, offering no rapid or reliable delivery options. This put the brand at a serious disadvantage, as modern consumers increasingly prioritize speed and ease of service. Tariffs, once again, are a factor that can't be ignored. President Donald Trump's import tariff policies pushed up the cost of key ingredients, particularly those sourced from Europe, making Papa Murphy's products more expensive to produce. With rising supply costs and no room to competitively adjust pricing, Papa Murphy's has struggled to retain its price advantage. As costs soared, the brand could no longer sustain its image as an affordable option, ultimately causing it to fall behind in the pizza market. Unless a bold transformation is enacted immediately, Papa Murphy's risks becoming just another name in the history books, left in the dust by faster, smarter, more adaptive competitors. This is a critical moment for the brand. Without drastic change, it faces the very real threat of disappearing from the pizza industry altogether. The downfall of Papa Murphy's serves as a stark reminder. No brand can afford to stay still when the market is evolving at breakneck speed. And somewhere on the fast food map, another familiar name is now quietly struggling to reclaim its footing. 5. Chick-fil-A, the undeniable decline. Chick-fil-A, once a dominant force in the American fried chicken market and widely praised for its exceptional customer service, is now grappling with declining revenue across major U.S. cities. Despite its strong brand loyalty, the chain is under intense pressure from soaring operational costs. Cities like New York and Chicago have seen steep revenue drops as rent and labor expenses skyrocket. These rising costs, combined with an increasingly unforgiving market, have pushed Chick-fil-A into a precarious position, one where stable profitability is no longer guaranteed. Escalating competition from newer rivals is another factor that cannot be ignored. Brands like Raising Cane's and Popeyes, with bold marketing strategies and distinctive menu offerings, have successfully captured a younger, more dynamic customer base, chipping away at Chick-fil-A's long-held dominance. Both chains offer trend-savvy menus and are quick to adapt to market shifts, something Chick-fil-A has struggled to keep up with. Tariffs have also dealt a painful blow. President Donald Trump's import tariffs on poultry have significantly raised the cost of Chick-fil-A's core ingredient, fried chicken, driving up production costs. This increase not only led to higher menu prices but also ate into profit margins. Coupled with rising rent and staffing costs in major metropolitan areas, the financial equation has become unsustainable, directly impacting the chain's ability to maintain profitability. Chick-fil-A now stands at a critical crossroads. Without aggressive changes in strategy, the brand risks losing its competitive edge and slipping into decline. With shrinking revenue and relentless cost pressures, the chain is struggling to sustain its current business model, and if it fails to act swiftly, it may soon be outpaced by younger, faster-moving competitors. The future of the fast food industry is facing brutal challenges, and the wave of closures shows no signs of stopping. Once dominant chains are now being forced to make sweeping changes just to survive. However, one critical factor that rarely gets the attention it deserves is tariffs. Policies that have placed immense financial pressure on fast food chains by driving up food ingredient costs, forcing restaurants to either raise prices or shut down altogether. Economists continue to debate whether tariffs are the primary reason behind the industry's sharp downturn, or merely one piece of a much larger puzzle within the broader U.S. economy. But this raises a serious question. Should fast food chains be forced to bear the brunt of these consequences all because of unpredictable trade policies? The fast food sector now stands at a decisive crossroads, where every decision will deeply shape the fate of major brands. Only those that adapt quickly will survive. The rest will be swept away without mercy. The industry faces a life-or-death ultimatum: evolve or be erased. No matter how this plays out, consumers must keep a close eye on these changes, because your favorite meal could very well be the next casualty in this ruthless reckoning.